Hello again, everybody. I'm Snapper Lancaster, welcoming you to another edition of the Central Alabama High School Sports Show. And as you can tell, for the last few weeks, we have been on the road and have enjoyed every minute of it, going to the different high schools and keeping the coaches and athletes off the interstate with all this construction and everything. And it's been a plus, hopefully for both of us, a win-win situation. We get to come into the schools and visit with the coaches and athletes, and they don't have to try to fight all that traffic to get to Ross Bridge, where we taped our show for 10 years. So this week we're coming to you from Oak Mountain High School, and it's been a few months since we've been to Oak Mountain. We've got different sports coaches and that we'll be recognizing today. And as you can tell, I've got a guest sitting here, and it's the head track coach, both boys and girls. And of course, we're talking about Betsy Rogers. And Coach Rogers, awfully good to see you.
Nice to see you.
And before we get the interview really started and talking about the kids and your job in particular, tell us a little bit about your background and it's what has brought you here to Oak Mountain High School.
Okay, well, this is my first year at Oak Mountain. I moved here from Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where I coached at Woodlawn High School. My husband was transferred, so I decided that it was probably good to come with him.
Well, yeah, that probably might have been a good decision you made there. How many years have you actually been in coaching?
I've actually been coaching for 15 years. I've been in teaching and education is starting my 16th year. So I've coached all 15 years. I've coached volleyball, soccer, cross country, and track.
Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven. A taste of heaven is always best. Now you know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
Land of Frost Premium is America's best-selling 1-pound deli pouch, now available in 12 delicious flavors, including new flavors of mesquite turkey and cotto salami. High school athletes across the country ask for Land of Frost by name. These great items are available at your local grocer, including Piggly Wiggly, Food Giant, Western supermarkets, and many more. Land of Frost also makes other varieties of lunch meats, including deli shaved bistro and sub sandwich kits. Land of Frost is a proud sponsor of youth sports as well.
At Andrews Sports Medicine, we partner with our patients, trying to help them overcome the obstacles that keep them from achieving their goals.
This practice aggressively pursues victory over injury, over pain, over limitation, over anything that's going to keep you from being the best you can be.
It starts with our non-surgical physicians who are trained in sports medicine, orthopedic injuries. We have specialists in sports medicine with shoulders, elbows, and knees. We have hip specialists that do only hip surgery, including arthroscopy, minimally invasive resurfacing, and total hip replacement if needed. We have joint replacement surgeons. We have spine surgeons. We have surgeons that specialize in foot and ankle surgery and in hand surgery. So just about all the specialties of orthopedics are covered at Andrews Sports Medicine.
What makes the great surgeons great is their volume of experience at making decisions, whether that's intraoperative decisions, post-operative decisions, pre-operative decisions, the decision to operate on somebody or not operate on them. And so our volume here breeds good decision making. That gives us an edge in terms of making decisions for our patients, which ultimately is a lot of times the difference between success and failure. The teams, the players, the parents have confidence in us because they know we're going to communicate with them, we're going to create a plan unique to that athlete or that person, and we're going to get them back to their thing as quickly and as safely as we can.
At Andrews Sports Medicine, our mission is to partner with our patients and to help them succeed and achieve victory. Whether you're a weekend warrior, a grandparent with a shoulder problem, or a professional athlete, you get the same care, the same high-level technology, the same aggressiveness that we would in a professional athlete, and we treat everyone the same way. None of us like to lose. We're all very competitive, and we're not going to lose against their illness or their injury.
folks, let me tell you, this is going to be a young lady who is a coach and a very good one, that she'll be the first one that in all my years that I've been doing this, that I have coached, hosted, where I've had coaches that usually it's just the sport that they've been in, like if it's a female coach, it's a female athlete. Well, this young lady is the first one that I have met, and I'm sure there are others, I just haven't run into them, where she coaches both boys and girls track. And Coach Rogers, to me right there, that is a situation where it has to be, one, unique, and two, talk about what are there major differences, almost no differences, or has it bothered you one way or the other?
Actually, I don't think there's much difference between boys and girls in terms of, I've always been the sprint coach, and sprinting is one of those sort of events where there's not a lot of thought. It's speed and talent and working out, and boys and girls both lend themselves to those type of workouts and that type of race. So I've always been the 1-200 4x1 4x2 coach, relay coach. So I've always coached boys and girls in the sprints. So I guess just expanding out to the other events it seems kind of natural.
Well, have you been a teacher coach all these years?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so what subjects or subject do you teach?
I teach English.
Oh, okay.
I teach British Lit here. So.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, what a combination. And so you haven't run into any significant problems then, but what, as us just looking at it on the outside and looking in, what would you call the major differences for you in coaching young ladies and young men?
Typically, it's a motivation issue. A lot of times when you're speaking to a group of kids, there are differences. Girls tend to think you're talking to them, whether you are or not, and the boys tend to think you're talking to someone else. So that's about the only difference I could really tell you in terms of like sort of the attitude and who's accountable or responsible. But other than that, there really is not much difference in the workout that you do. I have a lot of girls who will move up and will run with the boys because they just need that
Right.
extra. And I do find that there is some level of push to that because the girls want to beat the boys and the boys don't want to be beaten by the girls.
Right.
So you tend to have a really good workout when you have them mixed like that. So they tend to benefit from being around each other. So we do work out a lot together.
Well, and the situation, talking about what is it easier to motivate the guys or the girls, or are they sort of helping each other, like you said,
Yeah,
especially when they are compete a little bit together?
Yeah, I think that it's beneficial for both groups. I really do, because I do think they motivate each other. I think it gives it more of a team feel. And even though they're separate and there's two different trophies, a lot of times if the girls do well or the boys do well, they tend to feel like they're a part of that because they were part of that team. And I like that. I like to have that attitude of team, because track is unusual because it's a team sport
Right.
made of individuals. And so if you get everybody on board with the idea of team and the team does well and the team wins, then the individual just falls, all the individuals fall into place.
Well, talk about track, both boys and girls, and you can talk go in whatever direction you need to go in. But talk about the growth in the 15 years you've been in it, because I have seen in the last 15 to 20 years a whole lot more participation from the ladies' side. Their sports are growing. And I've used this term a lot when I talk with track coaches. And so you can tell me if you've ever experienced this part of it, but have you ever recruited in the halls for athletes?
Yes, I have actually. Right now I'm looking to replace a state champion high jumper, so I've been hitting the basketball practice, because in all my years of coaching, basketball players make the best high jumpers. So I've kind of been hanging out in the gym to see whose layups are good and who has height. And I joke with my kids all the time that when the 1 minute bell rings, that's a good time to be recruiting in the hallway, who's running down the hallway. But As far as track goes, when I first took over the program at Woodlawn High in Baton Rouge, I had 4 girls on my team, and just a matter of that year we took a girl to the state championship and she won, and people saw that. And so I'm used to building programs. And one of the things about Oak Mountain is we have all this talent and all this potential, but not like a full team. So to me, I see this as an opportunity to do that again, to build a program, to build a team, to have enough kids in all the events where we can vie for a team championship.
Well, I didn't want that to come out as a negative,
No,
question, because it hasn't really been that many years since track has, for lack of a better term to use, taken off.
Yeah.
And we find more and more track youngsters, both male and female, that's the only sport they deal with. And for the long time, you would get people that were played baseball or football or basketball, and on the side they might try track or something.
Right.
But now you've got people that make it, that's the sport they want to participate in high school, and that's why I come up with that term recruiting, because you haven't been the first coach that I've asked that.
Right.
And believe me, to this day, still some of them say, you better believe it, Snapper, I'm in the halls when I see, I think somebody is there that could help me, but it would also, and you know this better than anybody, help the young student athlete as well.
And I'll get the kids involved too. I'll say, hey, if you know somebody who's athletic and needs to be out here, bring them with you. So sometimes I'll get them involved with the recruitment process, because a lot of times the kids know who's, they see them in PE or in another sport, they know who's athletic and who can help with the
And
program.
so now this is your first year here.
Yes.
And so you've told me, and we'll be sharing this with the viewers in a little bit, we've got some information on some of these athletes. There are some athletes that are stars in their sport right
Yes.
here in this
Yes.
building.
Yes.
And so we look forward to talking with them. Enjoyed our conversation with you, and like I said, it's unique. First coach I've run into that are coaching both the boys and girls, and it sounds like you're at a good place, and not only for yourself, but for your athletes. But
Yes.
once again, awfully good to see you. Wish you the best of luck, and you and your athletes when you get closer to tournament time and trying to win those state meets and championships. And so good luck to you.
Yes, thank you very much.
And we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and visit with 3 athletes that are in her track program and pretty talented. So we'll be right back. Don't you go away.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say, I combined home and auto with State Farm.
Saved $760.
Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Alan Gurdeau in Trussville today.
And folks, welcome back. As you can tell, I got 3 strapping young athletes here, and champions in some field and great athletes all together. Sitting closest to me, Maury McNair, a 9th grader, and you're a sprinter, right?
Yes, sir.
And then Harrison Dimmick, and Harrison, you're a senior, and you're a thrower.
Yes,
and when
sir.
we talking about thrower, it's a discus and shot put.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then finally Aaron Brooks, and Aaron, you're a sprinter.
Yes, sir.
All right, first of all, welcome all of you to the show here. Good to see you. And to start with, Maury, I want to get this right. In the sectionals, as an 8th grader, you were 3rd in the 400 meters.
Yes, sir.
And so you've experienced what it's like to be pretty successful in the 8th grade. Now you've moved up to that 9th grade. And talk about the difference from the 8th to the 9th. Have you seen the level of competition go up or down?
The level of competition was definitely harder in 8th grade running in high school, because I'm used to middle schoolers and we don't work out that much. All we do is just sit around sometimes. But in high school, you actually work out and practice a lot more and try to get better. So the competition in 8th grade was hard. Now this year, I see I think the competition is going to be even harder because I'm finally in high school, and all the people are coming up, and I have more competition to go against.
Well, what got you into running, that sport? There has to be a reason you picked that over basketball or soccer or whatever.
Well, my mother, she ran track in high school. She played a lot of different sports, but she would always say, "Oh, you never play any sports that I do." So I said, let me try track, and I liked it, and I was good at it, so I was like, let me work at it and see if I could get better and better.
And how has it been with Coach Rogers at first year?
I think Coach Rogers is wonderful. She's very positive. She keeps the team up. She gives us great workouts, and I always feel great after workouts because she's so confident, and I feel like they're actually helping me to get better.
Okay. And then Harrison, I'm going to ask you this question. It may sound like a dumb one, but if I don't know the answer, it's not. Do you not play football?
No, sir, not anymore.
Boy, I'm telling you, I guarantee you the coach would love to have you out there. But evidently your first love is track and field.
Yes, sir. I think it was about 9th grade. I went to state as a freshman, and ever since then I just fell in love with the technical aspect of the sport, and I love the competition.
Well, now, you're not going to believe this, but I'm going to share this with you. First of all, you were the 7A champion discus and runner-up in the shot put, right?
Yes, sir.
I've got one of my best friends is a 92-year-old gentleman that competes in senior Olympics, and shot put and discus is what he does.
Really?
Yeah. And so the reason I'm telling you that, if you ever think that you won't be able to do much track and much throwing as you get older, the sky's the limit, because you know the Olympics and stuff like that, you can stay active. But what got you into track first over the other sports?
Well, track was something that a lot of football players did. As we came into high school, track was sort of in the background of football in middle school, and in high school they really want football players to do track to develop speed and conditioning. And one day we were out there, and it was like they took all the strongest football players and they put them over the throws group, and since then it's just, I love the technical aspect of it. I love competing, and it's so much fun.
Well, I guarantee you, Coach is tickled to death that you love it, and so it sounds like you're very good at it, and you love it, and that's the two ingredients. If you got those, the love of it, and then the ability to do it, you can do some special things, can't you?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. And Aaron, a sprinter.
Yes, sir.
Now, when we're talking about sprinting, and you was the 7A indoor 60-meter state champ.
Yes, sir.
Is that the only event you participate in? And first of all, though, more important than that, is track your chosen sport as well?
Yes, sir. I started track in the 7th grade. I believe I got chased by a dog one summer, and I was like, well, I can't let that happen again.
Well, let me tell you, it can happen. I was a mailman 45 years. I met a few dogs that didn't like me as much as I liked them, and so I had to root and scoot every once in a while. But was there any other sports you had tried, and then all of a sudden you just decided that track is it?
I also did basketball and football. Basketball, I stopped 9th grade. I did the summer going into 9th grade. I just didn't, I miss it, but I had to make a choice for myself.
Right.
Football, I made Junior Olympics. Me and Demi both went to Junior Olympics, and we went to go compete, and I came back and I told our football coach that I would need to focus on track. And with me doing that, I was able to prepare myself to win the 60-meter state championship.
I tell you what, it sounds like, first of all, you seem like three very nice, good, smart, young teenagers.
Thank you.
And secondly, you're blessed with some athletic ability, and you're doing your best you can with it. Now, question I like to ask the athletes, and we'll share that with you, is I know that you're successful in the classroom.
Yes, sir.
Because if you're not, you don't make it to the track, right?
You don't even
practice. Then you're successful in tracks because you're working at it, and you put a lot of hours in it, like all the other sports do and the athletes do. So that means that you've got a busy week. But what I want to know, and we'll start with you, Maury, what in the world do you do to relax and get away from the grind of the books and the grind of this?
Well, I just like to lay in my bed and sleep to relax and eat a lot of junk food, even though I'm not supposed to.
Well, wait a minute. Let me tell you this. You've got the perfect formula for junk food eating. Because if you run it off, as long as you're running, we can sort of eat what we want to, right?
Yes.
To a degree. How about you, Harrison?
I'm a huge video game nerd. I love playing video games. That is my favorite pastime. Me and my friends sometimes spend a whole day doing it. Oh my goodness. I
Does
love it
that
so
make
much.
you the state champ at that with your friends?
I bet you I can run some people off the field with it.
Really? Well, then that confident on and off the field and now with the video games. That's good. Aaron, how about you?
I indulge in my video games as well, but for the most part, I love learning about the understanding of money. So I'll go home and look up YouTube videos and study money for. I could do it up to like 4 hours a day if I wanted to.
Well, and I'm going to ask you this question, and please don't take it the wrong way, because it's a perfectly legitimate question. Do you hope one day to be an entrepreneur?
Yes, sir. So as far as right now, my goal is to be a millionaire before I'm 20 and have financial freedom when I turn 24.
Wow.
So.
Well, that's terrific. So it sounds like you got your work ahead of you.
Yes, sir.
But you've got a game plan.
Yes, sir.
And well, that's terrific. So going into this year, what are your personal goals for you in your sport?
Right now, with my mind going on and strong, I have the chance of collecting 5 titles, with that being the 60, 400 indoor, 400 outdoor, 200 outdoor, and 100 outdoor.
Wow.
So.
Have you had any college offers?
Yes, here and there, but I'm still
hope to go. But even in college,
yes,
as important as track is, you've got a goal that's above that sort of that
yes,
you're
sir.
shooting for, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's terrific. How about you, Harrison? What's next for you?
Hopefully this year, I want to be number 1 in the nation in the discus.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you put up some numbers that give you every reason to think that's a goal you can attain.
Yes, sir. Last season was sort of disappointing as it comes to distance-wise, but just we weren't as technically focused. We missed our peak a couple times. There's a lot of lessons you can learn from last season, a lot of disappointments, but this year, hopefully to correct all that and do what I know I can.
Now, I've asked these two guys this. I can't ask you that question because you've got quite a few years of studies ahead of you, okay? But I can ask you this, and this is the last question I have for you guys. And we'll start with you, Amari. To this point in your life, who's been the most inspirational person or persons?
My mom has been the most inspirational because even when I feel like I do bad, she tells me I did the best I could. And when I'm sad after a race and feel like I did horrible, she tells me I did great and not to worry about it. I'll get it next time. Just try harder next time.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you right along with what your mom says. Every meet you have, as long as you give 100%. Now, you hear these stories 110%. In the math I learned, 100% is perfect, okay?
Yes, sir.
If you do the best you can do, win or lose, nobody can be ashamed of you. And you can't feel bad as long as you know you gave it all you had. Keep that in the back of your mind, and it'll keep those negative thoughts that I'm not doing what people think I ought to do. As long as you do the best you can, that's all you can do.
Yes,
okay?
Sir. Thank you.
How about you? Who's been the most inspirational person?
My father, definitely. He's always just motivated me in the classroom as well. He's a driving factor. If I came home with an 85, he'd be disappointed. But I'd hate for him to have to see his son get second. Hate to have to see it.
Well, here's the thing about it. It's just like I was telling Amari. If you do give it 100%, that's all you got, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you do something less, then you can feel bad about it. But if not, and you can look your dad and I know I've done this before, and you probably have or will somewhere in your career. Dad, I did the best I can do, yes, and Dad will know if you did, and you wouldn't have to say it twice. And so I got a feeling he's going to be awfully proud of you, whatever you do.
Yes,
okay.
Sir. Thank you.
For me, I would say the people I associate myself with and hang around, to see like disappointment upon their face for something that I may do wrong or not been successful at, it's like they may support me, but I feel like I could have done better for them.
Well, I tell you what, that's an awful good outlook to have, and it's been delightful talking with you guys. Y'all have been very successful, and I think you're going to have a lot of success this year. this young lady, we may be talking with her the next 3 or 4 years. So I'm probably getting used to this. But good luck to you. Best of luck in all your state meets. Come away with the title. Somebody's got to win them. Might as well be y'all, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Good luck to you guys that are seniors and heading off to school next
Thank you,
year.
sir.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
Folks, we're going to take a quick break. We come back, different coach, different athletes. Don't you go away. We'll be right back.
Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven. A taste of heaven is always best. Now you know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
The next time you need electrical work, whether it be commercial or residential, you need to call Huffman Electrical Contractors. A company that's been in business for over 35 years. They've served clients not only locally in the Birmingham area and all over the state, but have clients outside the state of Alabama as well. Whether it's a new building or remodeling an older building or home, they can handle the job for you. Once again, that's Huffman Electrical Contractors. The number to call is 205-661-5005. That's 205-661-5005. Where at Huffman Electrical Contractors, a satisfied customer is always their number one objective.
At Andrew Sports Medicine, we partner with our patients, trying to help them overcome the obstacles that keep them from achieving their goals.
This practice aggressively pursues victory over injury, over pain, over limitation, over anything that's going to keep you from being the best you can be.
It starts with our non-surgical physicians who are trained in sports medicine, orthopedic injuries. We have specialists in sports medicine with shoulders, elbows, and knees. We have hip specialists that do only hip surgery, including arthroscopy, minimally invasive resurfacing, and total hip replacement if needed. We have joint replacement surgeons. We have spine surgeons. We have surgeons that specialize in foot and ankle surgery and in hand surgery. So just about all the specialties of orthopedics are covered at Andrew Sports Medicine.
What makes the great surgeons great is their volume of experience at making decisions, whether that's intraoperative decisions, post-operative decisions, pre-operative decisions, the decision to operate on somebody or not operate on them. And so our volume here breeds good decision making. That gives us an edge in terms of making decisions for our patients, which ultimately is a lot of times the difference between success and failure. The teams, the players, the parents have confidence in us because they know we're going to communicate with them. We're going to create a plan unique to that athlete or that person, and we're going to get them back to their thing and as quickly and as safely as we can.
At Andrew Sports Medicine, our mission is to partner with our patients and to help them succeed and achieve victory. Whether you're a weekend warrior, a grandparent with a shoulder problem, or a professional athlete, you get the same care, the same high-level technology, the same aggressiveness that we would in a professional athlete, and we treat everyone the same way. None of us like to lose. We're all very competitive, and we're not going to lose against their illness or their injury.
And folks, welcome back. As you can tell, I've got another coach here with me this afternoon. It's the head football coach here at Oak Mountain. And of course, we're talking about Coach Chris Bell. And Coach, good to see you.
Thank you, Sniper. Good to see you.
I know you're coming in from practice, and it's been a long day, and we don't have a whole lot of time. But tell people that are watching that may be seeing you for the first time how you've ended up here at Oak Mountain High School.
Well, we've been a lot of places, and about 8 years ago, job was open, and had a couple friends recommend me for the job, and things went well, and here I am. So we've been a little bit, been all over the Southeast, and happy to be in Birmingham.
Well, now I know you've been here and been successful, and this season hadn't gotten off to the kind of start you would like to have, but a couple of things dictate that, and I want you to talk about that just a little bit. One is the competition you have, and the other is sometimes it's the athletes. And I don't mean that in a negative way, because the old saying goes, you play with, I think Buddy Anderson's told me this one time about the best way you can put it. He said, Snapper, I play with what mom and daddy spit out. And you know what he's talking about. And you've done a great job. But sometimes you get off those slow starts, and there could be combinations of things, injuries, or just talk about the challenge of the start when you get off to one that it's not exactly like you would have liked to have had.
Well, you know, I mean, it has been, you know, our schedule is tough, but when you're in the region we're in, it doesn't really matter who you play when, it's going to be tough because all of the 7 teams are, you know, can play. They all have athletes. They're all well coached, and you've got to show up every Friday night ready to play, and that means you've got to practice. I mean, from Saturday to Thursday, you've got to, you know, do the things that you need to be doing to get ready to be your best on Friday night. And I think the thing that we have tried to do, I don't know that we've done a very good job of it, but, you know, we really don't need to worry so much about who we're playing as is just how we're playing. If we are playing to the best of our ability, that's really all we can ask.
Right.
And that's what we've got to focus on. And, you know, the first team that we've got to beat is ourselves. We can't beat ourselves. And we've got to make sure that we're stepping up and we're playing to our capabilities and to our potential. If we're not playing to our potential, it really doesn't matter who we're playing, we're not going to win. And I think that's the challenge when you get off to a slow start, trying to sell that to your kids week in and week out. It's easy to get discouraged, and we've really tried to impress upon them the importance of staying focused and staying positive and controlling the things that we can control. And, you know, really we respect everybody that would play. I think last year we were in the same boat, and we got to this point in the season, and I think our guys relaxed, thinking that it wasn't going to be quite as tough. And, you know, going into the game we're playing this week, Pelham last year, they just took us behind the woodshed and just whipped the dog snot out of us. And it, you know, we don't want that to happen again this year. We've really tried to stay on top of things. The tough thing is it's homecoming this week, so you got, you know, more distractions that way when you're 15, 16, 17 years old. There's a, you know, is Betty going to go with me to the dance on Saturday night? You know, whatnot? Do I have enough money? Do I have enough gas in the tank? All those types of things to think about. So we're trying to just keep our kids focused on the task at hand, playing to our potential, and not beating ourselves.
Well, I tell you, and another thing, and you have to look at it like this, even when you're having what you would say is maybe not a year win-wise that you had hoped for, the thing about it, and you mentioned it just a moment ago, if those kids give you 100% and you still get beat, that's all you can ask for. And a coach is, you know when they have, and they know when they have. And the thing about it, win, lose, or draw, if an athlete gives you everything he's got to give, you're not disappointed in it because there's winners and losers in every game.
Oh, yeah.
But as long as somebody beats you and they beat you giving your best, you're not disappointed.
No,
in
there's
it.
no shame in getting beat. But, you know, the thing we've got to make sure we're not doing is we're not beating ourselves before the ball game, and we're not making mistakes during the ball game that are killing ourselves either. And, you know, we can't shoot ourselves in the foot. And I think the thing when you get too focused on who you're playing, sometimes you beat before you go out there.
Right.
And those are the things, the challenges that we've got to make sure we're not falling prey to.
Well, I know you've had a lot of success here, and the kids, all they've got to do is do what you ask of them, do it the best they can. That's the key.
We'll be okay.
And then you'll be okay.
Yes, sir.
But, Coach, good to see you. I
Thank
know
you,
it's been a tough week for y'all, and we appreciate you trying to work in a little time for us. And the better half, maybe those wins are still out there, and somebody's got to win those games. Might as well be y'all.
Might as well be us, you're right.
And so a lot of times the kids can get that thought in their mind. As long as they give 100%, good things will happen.
You're right.
Good to see you.
Thanks, Snapper.
And we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, 3 athletes. We're going to spend a few minutes with them. Don't you go away. We'll be right back.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say I combined home and auto with State Farm.
Saved $760.
Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Alan Gurdeau in Trussville today.
Land of Frost Premium is America's best-selling 1-pound Deli Pouch. Now available in 12 delicious flavors, including new flavors of mesquite turkey and cotto salami. High school athletes across the country ask for Land of Frost by name. These great items are available at your local grocer, including Piggly Wiggly, Food Giant, Western supermarkets, and many more. Land of Frost also makes other varieties of lunch meats, including deli shaved bistro and sub sandwich kits. Land of Frost is a proud sponsor of youth sports as well. And welcome back. You can tell I got three outstanding young athletes here that pretty doggone good football players. Sitting closest to me, Jacob Payne, senior defensive tackle. Micaiah George, and you are a 11th grader, nose tackle. And Drew Padgett, offensive tackle, senior as well. Okay, going into this season, and Jacob, we'll ask you about it. I know the wins haven't come like you wanted to, but the thing about it, like Coach and I were just talking about, you guys know what you can do, what you're capable of, and all that is just giving it the best you got. You and your teammates feel like the best is still out there for you.
Yes, sir.
And how long have you been playing football?
I've been playing since I was 5 years old.
And so do you participate in any other sport?
I wrestle.
Oh, do you?
Mm-hmm. Okay,
so that's one of those sports that helps your football, right?
A lot.
Okay. And Micaiah, 11th grader, nose tackle. That means you're a big hitter, right?
Yes, sir.
Is football your only sport, or have you played other sports?
Yes, sir. As of right now, football is my only sport.
And then Drew Padgett, offensive tackle, senior.
Yes, sir.
Guys, all of you being seniors, off to college next year, the good Lord willing, the creek don't rise, the old saying goes. Jacob, if you could go anywhere you wanted to go, or do you know where you're going already?
I do not know where I'm going, but I have ideas. UAB is probably my number one pick because I want to do PT as a career, just because I got into it after I got injured, and it just grew on me, and that's what I want to do.
Well, good. Micaiah, how about you? Where do you think you might go, and what kind of studies would you do? What do you hope to do one day?
There's a few options. Alabama is the main school that I like, just because that's the study. They have, like, the main studies that I like to go into, so Alabama's probably the main choice.
Well, now, you know what, and I know it's way early, but a lot of times we have an idea of what we might like to do one day. You got any idea what that might be? Or you might someday want to be a coach?
Computer engineering.
Oh, really?
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
That don't sound like somebody want to be a coach. All right, Drew, how about you?
I'm mulling some options. I'm still figuring out, where I want to go, and I got some opportunities to play some college football. And I'm still, looking at those options, and I'm looking at going into business marketing.
Oh, really?
And or management, and maybe own my own business one day, or maybe even go into coaching.
Okay. Well, they're like Jacob, for instance, being a senior and a defensive tackle, is there any college or pro player that you see that you think, I want my game to be like that?
I like Reggie White. I watch a lot of his clips, and like just how there's just like one move that he just like uses his right arm just to totally like demolish people, and I just think that's really cool, and it was an inspiration.
Well, and when there's somebody like that we think a lot of or wish we could play a lot alike, it helps keeps us focused sometimes to be the best that we can be. How about you, Micaiah?
It's a lot of guys, but one guy that really stands out to me is Aaron Donald, just because with his size, 6 foot, 280 something, and just takes guys 6'3" and above and just demolish them.
Well, sometimes it's technique, sometimes it's brute strength.
Yeah.
Then if you've got that combination of them, you can do a lot of that,
Right.
can't you?
Yes, sir.
How about you, Drew?
Even though he's on the opposite side of the ball, I really like J.J. Watt on the Texans. He's physical on the field. He's an absolute beast, and he gives it 100% every play, and he's always working out and getting better. But then he's also such a great person off the field. You know, when that hurricane hit Houston, he did so much to help raise funds and help them. That was a real inspiration to me.
Well, now, guys, I know 2 things about you before you even sit down. One, I know you're pretty good students, or you wouldn't make it to the football field, right? Now, so after a week of hard studying and a week of hard playing, what I want to know, what does Jacob do to unwind, and what little free time that you're able to have to take some of that pressure off?
Really, I'll just hang out in my living room, chill out, watch some YouTube, watch some TV. Maybe go out once in a little bit just to hang out with some friends, but just wind down and relax.
Try to get a little extra rest, right? Micaiah, how about you?
Same with Jacob. I try to go hang out with some friends, get my mind off the game a little bit, just relax the whole day and watch some film, just see what I can correct and all that.
Okay, yeah, that's a positive thing too. Drew?
I like to look at film and especially looking at, maybe the next opponent a little bit before we get into our first week of practice, and then mainly just resting and spending time with family.
Well, Drew, when you look at that schedule, are there any teams that stick out that you enjoy playing against? Like, are there some that maybe you got buddies that play somewhere and they're more of a rival?
It's fun to play against your friends and get to see those guys in a competitive environment like that, but, football's football.
Just next man up?
Yes, sir.
Right. Micaiah, how about you? Is there anybody in particular when you see that schedule you look forward to playing them?
Honestly, it's everybody. I like, just to match up with people and just to show them that we belong. And I like to just prove, people wrong. So I look forward to playing everybody. So.
Okay. And how about you, Jacob?
Same with Micaiah. I think I treat everybody the same. But, if you have a friend on the other team, it's, pretty nice to, win and, friendly competition. But when you're on the field and he's not your friend, you just treat him like the other team.
Well, guys, it's been a quick interview. The last question I got, and I always enjoy talking with you guys about this. Jacob, to this point in your young life, who's been the most inspirational person or persons?
My mom. She does a lot for me, and I don't give her much credit as I should, and that's my fault. But ever since last year when I got hurt, she just she helped me out the most. She was my inspiration. There's no words to describe what she just done for me.
Moms are always there for us. How about you, Micaiah?
Really, my family, my brothers, my parents, they really support me and my little brother a lot in sports. So it's just I just go out and try to play every game for them. So.
Drew?
My mom as well. She's always pushing me, in the classroom, on the field, and making sure I'm everywhere I need to be, and I'm doing everything I need to do. Whether it's recovery, whether it's, making sure I'm watching film or studying, or I'm just on top of everything that I need to be on top of.
Well, guys, that's great, and I know they're proud to death of y'all. And it's been awfully good to talk with you. I wish you the best of luck the rest of the season, okay? And then your two seniors, you head off to college. Best of luck, y'all there.
Thank you.
And folks, we've had a quick show, but a good show. Outstanding athletes, outstanding coaches. We'll get together and do it again next week. Till then, you know what the snapper always says, bicycle.
All right, guys, now you say bicycle.
Bicycle. This was better than mine.
At Andrew Sports Medicine, we partner with our patients, trying to help them overcome the obstacles that keep them from achieving their goals.
This practice aggressively pursues victory over injury, over pain, over limitation, over anything that's going to keep you from being the best you can be.
It starts with our non-surgical physicians who are trained in sports medicine, orthopedic injuries. We have specialists in sports medicine, shoulders, elbows, and knees. We have hip specialists that do only hip surgery, including arthroscopy, minimally invasive resurfacing, and total hip replacement if needed. We have joint replacement surgeons. We have spine surgeons. We have surgeons that specialize in foot and ankle surgery and in hand surgery. So just about all the specialties of orthopedics are covered at Andrew Sports Medicine.
What makes the great surgeons great is their volume of experience at making decisions, whether that's intraoperative decisions, post-operative decisions, pre-operative decisions, the decision to operate on somebody or not operate on them. And so our volume here breeds good decision making. That gives us an edge in terms of making decisions for our patients, which ultimately is a lot of times the difference between success and failure. The teams, the players, the parents have confidence in us because they know we're going to communicate with them. We're going to create a plan unique to that athlete or that person, and we're going to get them back to their thing and as quickly and as safely as we can.
At Injury Sports Medicine, our mission is to partner with our patients and to help them succeed and achieve victory. Whether you're a weekend warrior, a grandparent with a shoulder problem, or a professional athlete, you get the same care, the same high-level technology, the same aggressiveness that we would in a professional athlete, and we treat everyone the same way. None of us like to lose. We're all very competitive, and we're not going to lose against their illness or their injury.